know how much it's going to cost you, so that it provides a structured vision of what has to be delivered. That is the key point for.
So what happens in the process of trying to obtain the permits and you find out you can't put up a 6-story building there?
Yeah. So then you have to go back and then review. You remember? Yeah, you have to go back and review. That's why it takes. Well, here is the deal. I mean, I gave you the short and dirty answer. Okay, but the good answer would be, if you are an architect or an engineer, first you have to go and see the zoning. In that zoning, it gives you whether you are allowed to do, because the good thing about those permit area, you can actually take your plan, give it to them, they review it before you submit, and then they say, okay, you're not going to do this, because remember, they're also your good stakeholders. They want you to succeed as a government, because the more you succeed, then the more you pay tax. When you pay tax, then everybody is happy. So in that case, you're going to go, it's part of your requirement is you go back and see what is the zoning on this area. And then you go back and see, because oftentimes, unless you really screw things up in a different way, your design should be fine. Because those construction projects are predefined projects. Those projects that you are working with the non-profits, with IT, there are a lot of unknown things that you don't know. That's why you need to assume getting that. So once you assume that, then you have a risk of getting things in a wrong way. But yes, yeah, you need to do a lot of back and forth.
Can I add a little bit to that, especially when it comes to a building? There are lots of, especially, I completely agree with you that whatever jurisdiction you're building, the focus there is to be part of your stakeholder team. An example would be, you may not be allowed to build a 6-story, right? But in negotiating with them, if you say a certain percentage of the units in this building would be affordable housing units, then they would make provision for you to build even up to a 7-story, because there you are meeting part of what their future plans are in terms of housing, but while in terms of affordability, but also because one of the things that many within the government are afraid of is how do you, if you build something new, are you going to displace people by what you've built? And so, and that's where really the PM needs to, first of all, really have those stakeholder meetings and make sure we get a buy-in from not only the people who are going to be funding the projects, but the government who is going to be permitting the project as they go along, and the community where they're building, because community can protest to say, we don't want a 5-story building in our neighborhood, because all of our rents will go up if you build this luxury apartment here.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you remember when we briefly touched about the stakeholders, their power and then their interest, especially on those public undertakings, the role of community is huge. And many of those major projects actually, they live about 6 months of public hearing, because people complain. If you notice that there was a big fight for the Costco to come to Wheaton. There was a big fight, and part of the original plan for Costco was to include the gas station. And they said, no way. So the community in Kensington, in the area, they fought hard. And then they came back with a compromise. They say, okay, we're going to build Costco, but the gas station and that part is not going to be there. So you may have like a citizen, active citizen who do their civic, duty, because what Daniel was talking about in another meeting, and then they say that, well, this is bad for us and we don't need this. And when Walmart was trying to come to Washington D.C., they called it the big box, because they're like big box, because there was a big fight with the citizens, with the folks, say that, okay, if Walmart come here, then the small mom and pop business are going to go out of business. So, as a program manager from the government, giving that review the process, this is where it takes longer time. Now, as a PM, you have to build this into your schedule, because it's not like a walk in and walk out. You give it here and then you get a stamp. No, that's not going to work. It goes through the whole review process. They come and see. That's why when you drive by, you see like a big, sign from the county that, there is planning, and then planning undergo, and you have to go back and see. So this is what you do. I'm sure Gitanek knows that, he built different systems for many of the clients in the government, and you have to go back and then do a requirement gathering again and again and again. Once you get that, you get your work breakdown structure, and you define. So now, the other advantage for your WBS is it helps you to the development of organizational breakdown structure, which assign project responsibilities to the people. If you know here, then you say, who's going to submit the application? You have your PR person, okay? And who's going to work with the reviewer? Your engineer, okay? And who's going to provide additional information? Your project manager. So breaking down your requirements and then work breakdown structure not only help you estimate your cost, but also help you to understand who is going to be working on that. Because remember, we have a RESI matrix, the roles and the responsibility matrix within your project team. You'll see who's accountable, who's informed, and who's responsible. And that's why it says that it helps the organizational breakdown structure and responsibility. It also helps you to manage the plan, schedule, and then budget of your project. That's another question that you're going to get from PMI. What's the role of work breakdown structure? And you need to find out, you say that it helps and manage your budget. And also it defines your communication channel and assist in coordinating the various project elements. Because now you know what, you remember what I said here? This is what to be built. So we're going to define, and then how that's going to be built, and then when, and then who. So those 5 areas, what, how, where, when, and who, these are like a building block for seeing the whole activities in a big area. And it was originally developed by a guy named Zachman. And now it is being called the Daniel Zachman Framework. And the enterprise architecture team is using it. You have the whole, the blue stuff. And you see, okay, what is building, who is building, when it's going to be built, and how it's going to be built on that. So that's another one. Defines the communication channels and assists in various project elements. So this is the work breakdown structure down through the work package. So you may probably not see here. You wanted to do the system management system. There is a need assessment. There is, let me just show you what the task looks like, and you will understand what I mean by that. So let me just get in the Moodle. Yeah, it's course material. So this one doesn't have a project plan here. Okay, so we're going to change laptop in the break time because this is it doesn't have an Adobe. All right. Okay. So with the breakdown work breakdown structures, that's like the manageable chunk. You get this. This is how you decompose, and then the lowest part of your work breakdown structure is called work package. Okay, work package. Okay, and then that work package is like the smallest chunk of your work breakdown structure that has a minimum of like 80 hours work, a 2 weeks work of value, and that's called work package. This is the work package. This is the lowest level of work breakdown structure and is output oriented. It defines what is going to be delivered. It identifies the time to complete the work package, how long. It identifies a time pays budget to complete the work, how much it's going to cost. Okay. It identifies resources needed to complete the work package, who is going to do. Okay, and it also identifies the person, and it's also identifies the monitoring point, which sometimes we call it milestone for measuring success. I tell you what, let's just take a 5-minute break here, because it looks like I've seen a